Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 85 of the What the Sheep podcast, where Alana and myself will be discussing and breaking down Critical Role, Campaign 3, episode 32 and 33. How's everyone doing? Let's wowzers. Wowies. Yes, I agree.
Wow.
What the fuck is up with that? I guess we can open. So a lot happened.
Yeah, just a few things.
But before we get into the shenanigans of last night's episode, there is a few interesting little tidbits that we would like to talk about from episode 32, since we did not.
We know why you're here, and we're going.
We know why you're here. And
For 15 minutes.
We're gonna milk you for your viewership.
But we do need to talk about episode 32 because a lot of important stuff happened.
Yes. One of the main things being the party met with Dancer at long last. They met with Dancer to discuss FCG and what happened between them. And we were pretty much given information we already could have theorized, like just randomly FCG went on the fritz and killed everyone.
It was.
But go ahead.
It was exciting to finally meet Dancer now that we learned that she was alive. But at the same time, it was kind of like, it was a weird reunion because FCG wasn't even really there for the majority of it. It was like, a lot of kind of just this woman sharing her trauma and going over the details, like you said, that we kind of already knew or could have assumed since FCG went a bit haywire. So I don't know. It felt a bit like, well, I don't know. I don't know if I wanted it to maybe be a bit more like, she's going to attack FCG or something. But that's just probably, the angst wanting side of us.
Yeah, angst is very much in the air right now.
Yes, a little bit. But it was nice kind of that she was willing to meet with FCG and have this conversation, kind of maybe some closure for FCG. He still seems quite upset about things, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see her as a character and just understand kind of where she was coming from. She wasn't just this person that abandoned them or anything. It was
exactly
for a specific reason.
Yeah, it's a really tough situation, but I'm glad there wasn't closure. But at least there was a conversation that was had between Dancer and FCG.
A path forward kind of thing.
Because, it's one of those things, while FCG didn't know what they were doing, and their programming took over for reasons that we will talk about, it's still unforgivable, yes, I understand that you were taken over and your base programming came out because you're an assassin robot and stuff, but what you did is irreversible, and
it's we can maybe move forward, but it might not be forgiveness as you wish it to be. I'm just laughing at chats just having their entire conversation about episode 33.
We'll get there.
They're like, we don't care about Dancer. We want to talk about psionics.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much how it is.
Amazing.
But we did learn, because then they did go back to Imahara Joe. We got a very brief history lesson that indeed FCG was an assassin robot, a genius designed by these Aorians to create these Aormatons that acted as caregivers. And then an event called the program or the event was called the Care and Culling, where these Aormatons were gifted to important figures and then activated to assassinate them.
Amazing.
Actually,
amazing.
Really cool.
Horrifying. They're like, it makes you think too. Then FCG? We can assume maybe then was in this region, and this is like where they've come from. They may be themselves built in Aeol, but perhaps not there during its destruction.
Yeah.
And it's now, they were collected seemingly by some figure that is going around selling them. We don't know why they're selling them. This mysterious D character. Yeah. Why they're going around with a mask made of metal? A mask, not a face.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah. So this NPC is going around selling I can't say it. Bots. And presumably, let's just say, let's say it's Devexian. Crazy theory, I know. Yeah. Let's say it's Devexian.
This is a random character.
Yeah, just a random D that I put out the air. They would surely know what FCG's purpose is. Are they just like going like, bit of chaos out of the world, or do they have a mission? Are they just releasing them to kind of, you know, procreate's not the word I'm looking for here, but you know, like just, you know, spread out and find new places to live. It's like, what's going on there? Are they just trying to make money? Like,
I don't know. It could, because we kind of figured that. Well, we knew that Devexian was going to go try to find their fellow, you know, Aeormatons to try to reactivate them. So that's why I don't think it is Devexian.
Yeah.
Because wouldn't then Devexian just want to activate FCG unless they didn't know how?
See, that's what I'm questioning. Yeah. It feels like it was setting it up to be Devexian. Like, you know, it was interesting kind of unknown character, name starting with D, metal mask face, kept a distance, wouldn't let anyone get too close to them. The fact that they seemingly have I can't say it.
Aeormatons?
Aeormatons are with them. It was very obvious straight away that that's what the guess should be. So whether or not Matt did it to trick us, or he's like, yeah, no, it makes sense. It's clearly Devexian. I can't think of who else it could. Not that we have to know who the character is, but where did they get them from? Maybe it's like another. I don't know. It's interesting. It's very interesting, and I'm worried we're not going to learn more about it because of what happened this episode.
Yep. And so I feel like we should give the folks what they want.
Yeah, why not?
And we will finally go into episode 33. So it started off obviously with a bang because the Paragon's Call fortress came under attack.
That's fun.
Yeah,
nice,
you know,
way to
it just happens.
Metal as...
It happens. But like my initial thought is why? Because I mean, we got the briefly connecting back to episode 32, where there were the Cerberus Assembly stamped boxes.
Yes. So Cerberus Assembly stamp boxes. There was Treshy boxes.
Yep.
And so the assumption was that Treshy might be on his way out. They're doing this caravan. They're caravanning out. Treshy could be leaving this place.
Yeah.
So it set up that instance of, okay, well, we need to grab him now or go with him. I liked where that was going. I did like that kind of thread of, we need to decide if we're going to kidnap him and run or if we're going to keep blending in. Because I love that kind of espionage stuff. Keep blending in, get close to see what they're working on. Because the fact that now, you know, we know Cerberus Assembly is involved, or at the very least, Deleth is involved. Let's see where this thread goes. See if this is more important, and we should. Ooh.
Just say Deleth. D.
I can't see him trekking through the desert with a cowboy hat on, wearing boots.
Nope.
We need a list of all the D characters.
Someone write it up. Don't write it up. And we'll just start process of elimination. But then my initial thought was the fort was being attacked because people were trying to get this shipment of whatever was going to be.
That's what it seems like. And then Altana Vo used that as a distraction.
Yes.
to get in. So whether or not she was involved with the planning of the attack or she was just, opportunistic in knowing it was going to happen and then took her chance when it happened. But then you got to think, who's attacking the Cerberus assembly or who's like attacking this shipment, the Paragon's Call shipment? Yeah. Someone that maybe seemingly knows what it is. Like, it doesn't seem like they get attacked like this often. Like, you can't imagine a skirmish like this is common because they are kitted out and there's a lot of people.
Because we didn't see any assailants, did we?
No. The only thing we know about them is there were like spells going off. So there were definitely casters. Oh wait, no, it wasn't casters. It was explosions, wasn't it? It was bombs.
Yes.
Yeah, I kept thinking they'll fire.
Could it have just? I mean,
dynamite.
Simply, it could have just been another rival crawler gang that may have been hired by someone else to do that.
Could have been hired by Otahan to cause a ruckus. Yeah, I guess we don't actually know that it was targeting the caravan, but it's a fun thing to think about that someone was targeting a Cerberus assembly caravan.
Because then, like, my other... because the thing is they were using explosives. If they were using, like, spells and stuff, then I would be like, oh, like, what if, like, the dynasty, the Korean dynasty have recently been made, aware that the Cerberus assembly have these manufactured things. Now they're trying to stop these shipments from going out.
Yeah. It seems like a large amount of manufactured dunamis is possibly within these crates. I mean, Ashton got a crystal tube. He got a crystal tube of something, and Fern got the box, which we assume has the same essence of dunamis that was used on Ashton, because they said that was familiar to the one that he stole from Gianna. Mm-hmm. So that's the box that had the essence of dunamis in it. So less of that, but whatever these crystals are as well, still concerning. But yeah, I like the idea. Like, I don't know, it's hard to think because you got to think either they did know what they were going after, in which case they did a very poor job of it. They kind of just like bang open the door, or it was just a random raid that Artanavo was using to like as cover to get in and get Treshy.
And that's what it looks like, as Kato Dyson Chat is saying that Matt has tweeted a few things about the fight. The attackers were with Artanavo and were distractions as she went to kidnap Treshy. That makes sense.
Yeah, perfect.
But then why was Artanavo after Treshy then? Like, who else wants Treshy?
She was because she's very much, a mercenary. She's not like I don't want to say not reputable, but she's not like the green seekers or anything. Right. She's a gun for hire to track people down. Mm-hmm. So who could be doing that? It could be like he's with his people. He's with the people that were kind of organizing all his. So it's not like, the Paragon's Call want him back. He's there.
Ooh. What if it was one of the what was that one lady's name? Because there was someone that I think Treshy had done business with. It was someone. It was some lady they met at the ball at the gala.
I can't remember the name of the ruling society of Drusar.
It's been so long since we've been there.
It's been so long, and there's so many names. There's so many organizations and things this campaign, which normally I'm fine with, but it's. But yeah, no, I was thinking that too. Maybe it was a member of that council that was like
the Shande
Quorum. Yes. Thank you, Kato Dice. I thought it might have been something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Bringing them in. But even then, it's like, it could be literally anyone's hired her. The people he's wronged, like, could be the probably not the Gore. I almost said the Gore Shani, which is from Calamity. That's not right. But no, it's interesting that she's there, regardless.
Yeah, it definitely makes things. It just adds layers. It adds layers because then we have to wonder who else is really involved. But that wasn't even the main kicker of this episode. As this entire episode is more or less just one long combat. I don't think there really was any break in combat. There were like a few narrative moments that would like peek in every now and then, but more or less, this episode was just nonstop. It was a 4-hour long episode ish, give or take.
Yeah.
But in game time, I think it only lasted like less than 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yeah, because it was the split initially. It was Team Treshy and Team Cart, and FCG just doing wheelies. Yeah. But it was, I liked the initial Team Treshy, let's go get Treshy, and that whole complication with Otana, the getting the whole business was excellent. And they have him. They have Treshy. They caught him.
They got him. Finally.
Him. It's great.
Finally.
It's all good. We've got Treshy. And, you know, the other team, great. We've got evidence. We got things from the crates. Lorna climbing up the building and planting a ring on Otahan. It's like, great, Otahan's handled. Like, we don't need to worry about them anymore. We can track her.
It's like their quest log that they had in the top left corner of their UI was getting check.
Yeah.
And then
it was going so good. Yep. I thought, like, when you think, oh no, the biggest issue is, do they leave the card or do they run on foot? And then a second later, it's like, well, that doesn't matter anymore.
We're in it now. We're in it now.
Treshy in the hole. It's so good. I love those holes so much.
It's a really good item. But I will say, obviously huge, massive props to Matt for handling such a chaotic encounter as a DM. Like jumping between the different groups, each with their own like variants of chaos that's happening. Yeah. Because Artana Vo and the scuffle going down below with Treshy, and then you know, above the surface with the explosions happening everywhere and trying to commandeer a crawler and stuff. That was a lot to.
That was a lot. Yeah.
Shuffle or juggle between.
I loved. Mercer at one point was saying, like, he's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Come back to me." like actually passing on the role playing in that moment. That was great. But no, it was a lot. It was chaotic. It was also. I mean, they knew this started at the end of the last episode, but it was very quick chaos. So the kind of having to settle into the what do we do? I love just their ability though to play off whenever a guard would run past and be like, "What are you doing? Get out of them!" They're like, "Oh, we're getting weapons," and they're like, "Okay, checks out." It really gave them like, well, I feel like Matt was building up for the fight, so he's like, "I'm not going to bog them down here. Like, we're not gonna get too stuck here because I know where I want this to head eventually." And yeah, it headed somewhere. It went somewhere.
But I wonder, because there was panic going throughout the cast and such. I wonder if Matt was even planned for a battle with Otahan. I think he's probably, but
yeah. So he tweeted just recently, and let me bring it up. And someone in the chat's probably going to beat me, but he recently just tweeted because someone was, you know, having a conversation about what was Otahan doing there. Why did they target the Bell's Hell sort of thing? And it was very much. He said essentially the assault on the compound was winding down, falling under control, and was a distraction made by Artana. So Otahan, being the warrior she is, recognized the likely true intent for the attack and shifted focus to any anomalies. She leapt from the balcony to the wall. She was spotted, but they misidentified her as Artana, and she saw the odd escape from the back gates where she set herself up to intercept. So that's when they said, like, you know, they were looking back and you see a figure jump down. They're like, "Oh, Artana got out. Great." Yeah. It was Otahan. Like,
that's right.
Amazing. Right. And it makes sense. Like, she was watching the fight, all of a sudden had Lorna in her face, darkness, all this odd stuff happening. She's like, "That's odd. I'm going to pay attention to what else is odd. That's odd, them trying to escape." Yeah. So, she's cool.
She's fucking cool. She is fucking cool. And I said this before we went live, but Lorenzo, eat your heart out. You will never reach the levels of Otahan. Lorenzo could never.
He was just a dick. She's cool.
Yeah. But I really liked the setup for this fight. I liked the stand up, like Otahan like slicing the crawler tire off, like the front wheel off, and then the explosion and stuff. But then it felt very Western almost.
Yes.
Because it was like the lone ranger standing against everyone else and stuff, and there's a dust storm going around. They're already in like a west like a Mad Max-esque area. So
it was a little Cowboys versus Aliens of the Western folk in their town trying to attack, and then this just super powered alien coming in, stabbing 3 times, running, stabbing 3 times. But no, I definitely got that feel as well. And she played into it too, because you get the sense she wasn't concerned at any point for her safety. Not that she wasn't concerned for her safety in general, but just she did not feel threatened too much, which is concerning for a character, for the creature you're fighting to not feel too concerned about their chances.
Because to that point, we have had situations where, well, I guess most certainly with like Dusk, where we were like, it's a 1v8 or 9 or whatever, like no shot, like literally no chance in hell does Dusk have to battle against them. Like, oh, they're fine in a 1v9 scenario, except in this one, because apparently Otahan is an Echo Knight, maybe.
I think Psi Warrior.
Or Psi Warrior? Is that a
Psi
fighter
Warrior,
or subclass?
Yeah. Psionic fighter, pretty much.
Can they do that too, or they do the...
Well, that's the thing. I think that's an item. I think that's the backpack she has, the jetpack sort of thing she has. And I think it's like a dunamis kind of like item. It's a dunamantic item, maybe developed by Ruidus. We don't know, but because it is essentially creating echoes, which is dunamantic magic. Echo Knights are dunamantic warriors.
And then there was like the gravity aspect too, where she was able to jump and stuff.
Well, that's Psi. That's a Psi-powered leap. Yeah, that's a part of being a 7th level Psi fighter. So she's like got these Psi Warrior abilities. So that's all about unlocking your psionic powers, like psychic defense, mind penetration, the extra force damage she's doing with all her weapons, based just off what she's doing and like the stuff we've seen her doing. She's at least NPC, still probably has a character sheet. She's at least level 11, possibly higher, not higher than 11 to 16. She is pretty much. She wouldn't be level 17, I don't think, because we haven't seen any of those abilities, and her psionic dice abilities weren't that high. So I think she's between 11 and 16, which is concerning.
That's real rough.
But it feels so good, because it feels like we've heard about this character. She's like venerated, and there's history behind her for how good a fighter and warrior she is, and we get to see it. It's like,
the legendary Otahan.
It's going up against a legendary fighter. This is why she's legendary. And then mix into all that just her conversations with Imogen and her ability to kind of get under their skin and try to draw this out from Imogen. It was such a good fight overall. Not even talking about what really happened to everyone else just yet. But like just the premise of the fight, of her being like, well, I'm here. Hey, it's you. Let's have a chat. And then it all going poorly.
And it seemed like we'll be bouncing around a lot with this fight, but it seemed like at first she was pulling her punches in a way, because she wasn't immediately outright killing them, because the first couple people that went down, she just left them. They went down.
She was more
it seemed like once she recognized Imogen was there, it was now, okay, I need to get Imogen to unleash to activate. And so then when people started coming back up, she was like, okay, I'm not going to hold back anymore.
That's what she said. She's like, this is like, I see that I've been going too easy, essentially, or I see that I've not been making my point clear enough, which is brutal. But no, she took Ashton down in one turn. Which I saw a really good thread, or it might have just been a comment someone made about the role of the Barbarian in the group is a bit of a morale booster. Because, they're there, they last, they hit hard, and they kind of tank. So if your tank goes down in one turn at the start of combat, it's an instant demoralizer. And it's an instant kind of like panic sets in. And so for this group, I think the thing that kind of, and again, we say this not in any way to criticize what happened, because it's not a criticism, but like it hurt the combat. It's still an excellent combat, but what hurt them in this combat was the decision of saying, let's run, we're getting out of here, let's run, but those plans changing very quickly. So then you have some characters sticking to the plan and other characters not being able to stick to the plan, so changing the plan on the fly, and so your party is like not cohesive. With like essentially an assassin between all the characters that can get around quickly. But it's perfect. It's narratively perfect because it works for this figure they're fighting, but then to be so completely out of their league with her.
And
if they'd been like, all right, let's go team, and all pummeled on instantly, they probably could have gotten her, but it wasn't what was narratively happening. It's not what the characters are kind of like at this moment, I don't think. It was very much like, we need to protect Imogen, we need to protect ourselves, let's go, we'll be fine if we get away, sort of thing. Makes perfect sense, but it didn't work.
Not when you're against a legendary fighter like Otahan with these links to Dunamantic magic, creating these Echo Knights. But it is true, because when you can have a plan, right? You can have an idea of how you want this combat to go, whether it's going to be dogpiling on the person or bolting. And again, as you were saying about the morale booster of, a Barbarian, when your Barbarian goes down that fast, all of a sudden you're in like turbo panic mode now. Like you're at the next level of panic, because like, oh shit, our biggest beef boy is down. Now we have to pick him up. We have to get him up.
And they're still
and then
low
run
at that
still.
point. But
then they're in it.
The action economy then becomes very messy and very and that's the thing too. The party was split across like a thoroughfare a little bit as well. So needing to either pass them or get to them, and she's also just quick. Like she had the high dex, she could move quickly, she had ads all around her that were able to kind of hamper them and kind of hold them off a little bit. It was a cool fight. It was so good. Way, I'm just going to gush too much about it. But
the way that you just said ads, the way she had ads around it. I've been playing a lot of World of Warcraft recently. And so it's like Otahan is like a raid boss, like a world boss or something. And it's like, honestly, the party should have just wiped. They should have just wiped as soon as Ashton went down, reset the fight. It's like, our Barbarian, our tank forgot the mechanics. We gotta reset. We gotta reset this fight.
Need you, tank.
But it was interesting. And again, when going back to your point about action economy, when someone goes down, things get super fuzzy. But then it gets even worse when another person goes down. And then another person goes down. Because then your actions, your supportive abilities are spread so thin, where it's like, oh fuck, I actually have to choose who to bring up and who is going to be the most valuable that can then help bring others up.
That's the thing, because if you look at the ones that went down, it's Ashton went down first, he's the main damage dealer. Orim went down, another massive damage dealer, and like crowd control. Like they're very good at, disarming and focusing attention, I guess, or like getting around and things like that. I mean, Orim on one turn healed Ashton, was still able to attack. Like, Orim is a very good support, but also massive damage dealer. Fern went down. Fern is essentially their secondary healer after FCG, because Fern can still heal. So, and then like Laudna went down as well. Laudna, I mean, she's a powerhouse, so not having, and she was so separated too, so having her away and down far away, it kind of redirected FCG's attention away from the main battle, or the main section, I should say. So it was messy, but it was so good. It was a lot of fun. It was perfect. It was perfect D&D in a way.
It was. And again, huge, shout out to the cast and to Matt for handling such a high intense combat where there is potential for character death and stuff, and it just goes to show how trusting they are at that table. With the story, with how things play out.
There's been moments where I've been playing D&D like as a player before, and like you get into those kinds of fights, and you're like, oh, this is bad. Like this is like, it's not going well, but it's, and like you're always concerned about your character dying, because I mean you put so much into your character, but it's fun. It's it's a good game for that kind of that reason, I think. And like I know a lot of people do play where it's like, character deaths can't happen, things like that, and that's perfectly fine. That's equally as valid. But I love that little bit of threat always of, this could be the end, this could be failure, it could be TPK, it could be your plans don't succeed and the bad guys win. I'm excited for that, because I feel like we've had character death in Critical Role before, but we've only had realistically one major character death, like one permadeath character. End of campaign 1 aside, that's something different, I would argue. We've only really had one perma character death in campaign, so I'm excited. I don't want people to be mad at me. I'm excited for the possibility of it to happen again, because it's interesting, and it makes it brings us back to, oh, this is D&D, this is Dungeons and Dragons, this is not just a narrative that they're kind of role-playing, or it's not just improv role-play that they're doing. There is game mechanics here, and there is like consequences to their actions.
And this episode, because I'm not a huge fan of combat. Usually when combat happens, I turn off my brain because it's hard for me to focus, but I love narrative combats that have like a serious narrative impact. Because the stakes are high, and they were definitely very high in this one. And so now that we have, and then this is a first in Critical Role history. This many downs and this many PC deaths at a time, at a single time, which is wild, absolutely wild. We do have to, again, we kind of talked about this previously. They do technically have the diamonds necessary to revivify.
Yes.
However, asterisk.
However, like, mechanically wise, they have the means of saving everyone.
Yes.
100%. Narratively wise, we don't know.
We have no idea.
We don't know what happened at the end of the episode. We're going to talk about it, don't worry. We don't know what has happened here at the end of the episode. But also, presumably, let's just take one theory, the white flash happens, Imogen's release energy. She's gone, Otahan's gone. Like, that's the safest, it sounds bad, that's the safest they can be in that moment for getting their revivifiers off, getting their heals off. Everyone comes back. Imogen's gone. All right, that's like, I hate to say that's best case scenario, but that's like, it seems like best case scenario in this situation. It's possible they can save everyone technically, but we don't know that that's going to happen. We don't know that they're going to be in a position where they can safely get a revivify off. I think it's been like 2 rounds maybe, so they've got 8.
They have kind of time. They have kind of time, but we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know where they're going to be. We don't know what state they're going to be in. Which makes me, I don't mean to cut you off, which makes me wonder if at the start of the next episode, if they're still going to be in initiative round, or if I don't know. I don't know, because it all depends on the state of the place. Because I had the same thought as Froggy Strap in chat. What if Imogen teleported them to Ruidus? What if they're just on the moon for some reason?
Yeah, that's definitely one of my theories.
What if they're suddenly there? We can sort of get into that, because then people, yes, are also bringing up the fact that the Revivifies could still fail.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's been a bit wishy-washy on how Revivify works in Critical Role before, because in combat they've done it where it's like a defib, or like, you know, shock pattern, not defib, like a shock pattern, like it starts, it just restarts, which is not, I'm going to get too medical. It's not how they work. Anyway, but you know, it's like a restart. It's like an instant it works, because it's a quick action spell. It's more the returning to life spells that Matt has done the rituals for. But I know he's done a ritual for Revivify. He did that with Caduceus back in Jorhas. So it's a bit like, is he going to make them do rituals for these Revivifies? We love to see it.
Oh yeah.
Resurrection rituals are excellent.
When there's
I don't know
deaths,
if he'll do it or not. Because I feel like I like Matt's resurrection rules. I think they're good. I like the ritual. I like all of that. I think for Revivify, for a third level spell, it should just be like you're quick, good. If it's within a minute, you're good. So yeah, I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it should have the rules. I know he's done it in the past. I kind of hope it doesn't in this sense, just because it would feel even
more punishing.
Not suggesting he's being mean, but it would feel mean.
No, because again, it just goes to the trust, because again, it's got to be hard as a DM to be making those like split second decisions. It's like, okay, I'm done holding back. Like, this is it. But it's just the trust that they have, and it's wonderful to see. And it's again why I love D&D. I love watching this show for these moments of just high intensity Dungeons and Dragons, because we're all so invested. We're all so invested with these characters and their stories and stuff. And
we're just starting to scratch the surface with some of them.
And this really is only like the beginning of the campaign, really. But again, I guess we don't really know how long it's going to be.
This could be
the end
of the campaign.
This could be the end, actually. Yeah. Who knows?
Even if it's not TPK completely after this episode, it could still be winding down. It could be like, you know, and then think about what all of them are really trying to achieve. We found the answer by dealing with the Ruidus problem. Like, even if it takes another 20 episodes, like, it could wrap up around here. I don't think it will. I don't think that's the case. But it's not it's not outside the realm of possibilities, I don't think.
Yeah. So far it seems like Matt is setting things up so that all of the main threads are connected. So I think this could be a campaign that is a bit more what's the word I'm looking for? Succinct? Yeah, it's very, I can see the different paths that it can go to reach like the end, because we have all the Dunamis stuff connected with Ludinus Deleth, who is potentially connected to Otahan. We know Otahan is connected to Ruidus, who's now also connected to Imogen. They both have this like deep rooted like primal power that they have, that Otahan wants Imogen to unleash, which she ended up doing, which we can kind of talk about the build up for that. And then it connected to Gianna with all that stuff, because she was also smuggling the thing. So I can see the different connections, and it's all, you know, going to be coming together when the Apogee Solstice happens.
Yes.
But we don't even have time to worry about the Apogee Solstice right now. We really don't.
No. We've got more pressing current matters.
But on the angst, because you already know, for those of you who might be new here, and this is your first time tuning in, we love angst here. It doesn't necessarily mean we want characters to die.
We should preface by saying we're not saddest. Like, it's like we like the drama that sad things bring. Yes. We like the feeling that sad things bring, and we like to call it angst.
Yes.
It's good. It's a good feeling.
It is.
But enjoy it.
I loved the 2 times that Orym went down.
Yes.
The first time where Orym was thinking about his husband and father, I was like, oh god, no. No. But then coming back up and then dropping the sending stone. Is that the one for Dorian?
Well, but that confused me because they went down. Like when they were thinking about Will and Derek and that was when they died, right? Like, was that when they just went?
I think that's when they went down because then the next time they died, they were like, Liam was like, he feels a sense of failure, but he's going to be seeing. He's going to be seeing Will and Derek soon.
Correct. Oh.
Wait, which means confirmation, right? Well, maybe not. Derek is Orym's father, right? Maybe.
Well, Derek is Will's father.
Or Will's father. Okay, so then, like,
stepfather. But it confirms that Derek is dead? Like...
Yeah, that confirms Derek is dead. Yeah. That Derek was one of the individuals that died in Zephyra. But what obviously got me was Orym saying that about, Derek and Will, but then the fact that Orym was trying to get a hold of Dorian as just the last ditch effort of desperation, reaching out to anyone. Really sad. Fuck you, Liam. But also thank you,
Liam. Someone pointed out too, Liam was writing in their notebook, notebook for like a little bit before they went down. They were suggesting that might have been the message that they wanted to send off to Dorian.
Oh.
So that message might exist. It might still exist in the real world.
Oh yeah.
But no, it was heartbreaking because and just the when they're saying like, what's Orym feeling, what's Orym thinking, the sense of failure, like it's not that many combat deaths are happy deaths, but it wasn't a happy death. No. Like it wasn't Ferns was a bit like, oof, like this is surprising and new. In typical kind of Fern chaos fashion, it was like, oh, this is like, wow, I'm dying. For Orym, it was just like, I have failed, like my goal is gone, sort of thing. It was heartbreaking.
And then Otahan, like right before she kills Orym, is like I've seen you before, and like knowing,
yes,
Otahan.
We want Orym to like do it.
Oh my god. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. But listen, the last time we had, at least Ashley Birch didn't have a hand in this, right? At least Ashley can, sleep well knowing that she was not involved in these deaths. But then, yes, we had Fern dying, and then her saying like, "Oof, well, this was a wild ride," or something.
And that was like the moment too where we're like, oh, Otahan is just going dot to dot to dot, like not relenting. Because I think it was, I'm not sure if it was with the Fern hit or the Orym hit, but it was very much like they're down 2 failed death saves, and that's like the 3rd attack, and you could see the cast like, and like Laura specifically, she was like, oh no, this is, they're going actually for the kill.
Yep.
Oof.
Yep. I think there was a point because, so cool. and let's not forget there were a lot of clutch natural 20s this game, especially with those death saving throws, like Laudna or with Marisha when she was on her I think her last one, or at least one of them. And she was like, Delilah, take the wheel, and then boom, natural 20.
Narrative,
I actually got chills. I was like, no way that happened. But it's so good. It's so good.
It's good. It's just good. We love it. We feed on the angst. But it's not just angst, because it is just good narrative. It's good.
Yes. Yeah.
gameplay and good kind of dice rolls, the chances of these things telling the stories the way they do. That's the thing, though. You celebrate the successes and the failures. Like, Nat 1s are equally as good as Nat 20s because they both tell good stories. It's fun to see, and it's why I love the game and I love this show, and goddamn characters making me care about them and then getting stabbed.
Because Laudna is still down, right?
Yeah. She's on 2 failed death saves. She's like a kick to the shin away from dying.
Yeah.
Like they could literally like pull on her nose and she would die.
Yeah. Literally, but Chetney's back up again.
I think so. I saw someone in chat say they were on 2 failed death saves. I thought Chetney was back up.
I think they were because I think
double check.
I'm pretty sure they are. But regardless, there was actually almost a point where Orem, Fern, Chetney, and Laudna were all down, and it was just going to be Imogen, FCG,
Chetney's
and
up.
Ashton.
Chetney's up.
Yeah,
Chetney, because she used the psionic leap to get to Laudna, and he tried to trip her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's up. Yeah. I just want to point out, as Danny said in chat, and I saw this comment too, it was they gave Matt too much power by giving him the bow vest at the start of the episode. It was instantly too much.
But I also like what Danny said, saying that
we just like that.
The Matt vibes were very much different here than the time Molly left us. That is kind of true. Because when Molly left, not that I mean maybe Matt has gotten bloodthirsty over the years, we don't know. But like when Molly died, there was like, and not to say that Matt wasn't sad this time. I'm sure it's very, very hard as a DM, especially in Matt's position to kill your players and stuff. But Matt seemed like remorseful with killing Molly, but in this one it's just like, nah, come here. Who's next? Who's next?
In the Molly fight, he didn't plan necessarily for it to be deadly immediately.
Yeah, no, that's also true.
It was very much they got themselves trapped in that position, and he's like, I have to play this character as what they would do, like send a message sort of thing. This will send a message. Whereas this time around, it was like, well, no, this character's only interested in one of them, and they want them to release their anger and everything, so let's do it.
Looter Garden just said Brennan Mulligan is probably cheering in a corner somewhere, and now I'm just like thinking of like Brennan watching that episode and literally like standing ovation cheering every time Matt killed one of the players.
Oh my goodness. No. It's concerning. Let's talk about Imogen.
yes, we can talk about Imogen for a second here. But and again, I think all of the players played their characters exactly how they would have been. And I think it's perfect because I think it's okay to be frustrated with characters if even when they're doing something that makes sense. Because us as the audience, we're like, no, Imogen, just let go. Just let go.
I get what you're saying.
Save your friends and stuff. But like, it makes sense that she wouldn't. Like, she's afraid of it. She doesn't want to embrace that.
Her whole character has been not, like, avoiding that and not wanting to do it and trying to, handle this, like, with just the power she has, not giving in. I 100% agree. Yeah, I thought we were going to go somewhere else there, but no, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And because we're like, no, just do it. It'll be fun. Like, but this is so much more important than that. Her still sticking to what her character would do. No, it was excellent. It was good and it was scary, but it was perfect for like who her character is. Like, kind of this uncertainty and now potentially this kind of guilt and potentially kind of well, we don't know what's happened to her, so we don't know what Imogen's gonna look like next episode.
Because she went like full, because the imagery I was getting, she went like full Dark Phoenix, Jean Grey, just completely losing control of all her powers. Dark Phoenix is a good
comparison,
but what I love about it, because then it adds like another layer of angst, right? Another layer to it, because she tried so hard to avoid unleashing this power within her. She was afraid of it. And now she, lost control and will have to then deal with consequences afterwards. Like her worst fear was this storm taking over, and now it happened.
And even throughout the fight, she was saying to like, I loved it. I love that kind of, again, just going to say, I love Otahan so much, but I loved Imogen saying like, I'll go with you. Like, stop, please. I'll go with you. And she's like, nah, you got to give in. You can't just say it. You've got to actually do it. Which I thought was fantastic, because that could have been an out for Matt there in that comment to be like, all right, I'm not going to kill any more PCs. I'm going to be like, all right, come with me and we'll go talk about this. But it was like, nah,
Otahan
kind of what I'm after for. And I saw a few people saying like, Laura wasn't picking up on the cues Matt was laying down. I mean, it's Laura fucking Bailey we're talking about here. I think she got it. She knew what she was doing. People need to have a bit more kind of respect for the name Laura Bailey. But no, it's
let's not forget the cupcake, all right?
Exactly. Come on. But I think it was obviously a very stressful, a stressful encounter. So it's fair for people to assume maybe things weren't getting picked up on. But I think Laura was good. Yeah. She knew what she was doing. And it was great. Like I said, that kind of sticking to her guns of, no, I'm going to beat this. I'm going to save my friends the way I choose to. And then ultimately it being a natural one on her Ruidus die that fails her wisdom save and releases whatever this is.
Yeah, because we have no idea. Because, we had...
no idea. We have no idea. That's what I'm saying. Like I said to you before the stream started, people are going to be like, ooh, what's their theories going to be? Zero. Nothing. I've got nothing.
Because I don't think anyone could have expected or predicted what was going to happen, even with the unleashing. Like, I'm trying to think back, because I only, I finished the episode, 30 minutes before the podcast today. And,
nice.
I was... I was like, okay, so if she ends up unleashing, what does that look like? Is it just going to be just a surge of this red storm energy bursting out everywhere?
That's what I was thinking.
And that's kind of what happened, except it totally sundered the area around them.
Right?
It summoned the storm to them, tearing everything apart, throwing everything about, which concerns me with Laudna, because Laudna is one death save away. If this storm is throwing people around, again,
bonked on the head by a pebble.
Yeah, a pebble is gonna take out Laudna. So it's, but then even then, because the rest of them are low, I don't know how Imogen's hit points are looking, but Chetney is still pretty low. If they are being thrown around
low,
and stuff.
Ashton's low.
Yeah.
Ashton's also a little bit far away.
Yeah.
FCG I think's okay. I don't think FCG took any hits.
But I am worried about FCG, because I think FCG and Sam was taking additional points of something, because every time he was doing something to help someone, he was saying
he was reacting
he was in pain.
poorly.
He was reacting to it. So it's all bad. It's all bad.
Let's try and theorize. Okay, what could potentially happen.
So I actually don't think they are going to the moon. I don't think they are, because I think Adam was saying it's too soon for Ruidus, and I do think that's true. But I could potentially see maybe Otahan and Imogen being gone. They were bamfed out by whatever source this is, because now what? Because now I'm thinking, because Otahan is the Grey Assassins. They are the Grey Assassins. We basically got confirmation.
We know that.
So then the age-old question: who was she after in Zephyra? Why were they after the twins?
Because she made comment, and I'm going to misquote it, but it was something along the lines of, you can either kind of unleash and, meet your full potential, or fail like the others. I'll have to kind of take care of you like I did the others. So you get the sense that, she's keeping track of these Ruidus, but she even said to Fern, you're touched by Ruidus, but not as strong as others that I've seen. So she's like keeping track of these Ruidus-born people, and either they have potential, or maybe they have potential but they don't want to join her, so she takes care of them. But you're right, it does raise that question of what was happening in Zephyra.
Then is she working? Because now my theory brain is kind of going wild. Then is she working with Ludinus to try to build a very powerful Ruidus-born army, so that Ludinus can do whatever he wants to do when the Apogee Solstice comes around, if he even wants to do anything with that? Because I would imagine Ludinus is well aware that there are probably checks and balances among high powerful mages. So if he was wanting to do something with an Apogee Solstice, he's like, okay, I gotta build a fucking army to protect me, or to allow me to do what I want to do. So it'd be interesting if he did hire Otahan to maybe locate either the Ruidus-born.
That's the thing. I can't imagine a world where Beauregard stays within the Cobalt Soul of being in I said Westeros. That's the wrong thing. Wildmount. Being in Wildmount. I've been reading a lot of Game of Thrones. Being in Wildmount. I can't imagine a world where they're not like keeping an eye on Ludinus and, not knowing that an Apogee Solstice is coming up. We've got Essek, we've got Caleb, we've got a bunch of powerful mages that they're friendly with. It stands to reason that they would have some idea of the Apogee Solstice. I can't imagine the Cobalt Soul aren't aware or aren't tracking them. So
at the very least, there is that one Cobalt Soul member in Uthadern that is super into all of that shit.
Yeah, 100%. That dude. I remembered his name a few weeks ago. Don't remember it now.
So he, at the very least, is probably very excited. About all that. But then,
so the idea that Ludinus is up to something, the idea that they have involved Otahan in their plans. Otahan, we think, is human. Do we have any?
It seems to be.
Or say
like,
yet on
old,
what,
like 40s, 50s human.
Yeah. So we can assume human. We can assume like they're a mortal being of Exandria. Highly powerful though. Like, we don't know to what extent Ludinus knows of Ruidus. That's fun to say. Like, we don't know if Otahan have their own motives. We don't know. We don't know, Nico.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Oh.
So we don't know what this could potentially mean for Imogen. What is this release of energy she's doing? Is it power from Ruidus? Is it connecting with Ruidus?
Yeah.
We saw a shift. We saw, like, it felt like, parts were actually moving in this space.
But it seems like, because obviously Otahan is very, very powerful, but it seems like at least part of that power comes from the Echo Knight jetpack that she has.
Yes.
Obviously her powers based in, psionic fighter. But then
all this Dunamancy bullshit.
Is Imogen on that same level, actually? Or is, like, Imogen like a special case?
Yeah, so because you got to think, like, is it just a coincidence they both have psychic abilities? Or is that a specific thing to these powerful Ruidus-borns, that whatever Ruidus is, it is psionic based?
Yeah,
which
then
makes you think aberrant bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Because we're trying to still live on the theory that there is a trapped god within the moon, right?
Yeah,
one from before the founding.
But then would it be? Would it be?
So my Shah theory is getting further and further away from us. I'm losing Shah
Wouldn't it be interesting?
here.
Wouldn't it be interesting if there was some great, powerful, aberrant being that was around the time of the founding and was trying to fuck with the prime deities?
Maybe Exandria was its home.
Huh?
Maybe it lived. Maybe it lived in Exandria, and then these deities turned up, and they're like, "Oh, this looks cool," and they're like, fuck, a giant beholder." I don't know. The Great Mother. What's it called? The Old Mother? The Mother Beholder? I can't remember its name.
Oh yeah, cool. Could be. But then it also again reminds me of World of Warcraft. Because Azeroth, the world that World of Warcraft is in, was corrupted by these old gods, like these eldritch beings of mass power, but then they were put in prisons to, contain them and stuff. So it seems like maybe there were some aberrant forces, around the area when Exandria was made, and they had to lock some of them up. And that's why, then that shows, because we know Fern is Ruidus born, but Otahan said you're not as strong as the rest, because we know Fern doesn't have access to, psionic-esque powers, mind powers and stuff. So I think you're right that the psionic powers are linked to a stronger breed of Ruidus born, I guess. That are maybe touched more directly to whatever entity influences Ruidus and stuff.
Yes.
Oh boy.
I think some people were pointing out to maybe a potential link to the like king of gem dragons, which is Saradior. Gem dragons themselves are psionic kind of beings as well. That's one theory. I'm just saying it out loud so we can clip it later if it comes through. Yeah. but no, we don't know. And like I said, I feel like Shah's probably not the case now if we're looking at psionic
I
sort
did
of
like
stuff.
that theory though.
I like that theory a lot too.
That was a good one.
Boo. But focusing on psionics, yes, I like this idea of it being an aberrant creature or entity or just, force within Ruidus. I laughed at Garth's pun. It's kind of dumb.
Ruidus ruined us. That's good. That's good.
Possibly two trapped gods. The initial theory we had was that, one killed the other, but it could be true. But that's the thing too, because the theory was that it was two gods, like ones that came with the gods at the founding. So maybe there was an aberrant. I mean, they're technically aberrant themselves, the deities, if we think about them. They're space people. They're from space.
Like maybe, well, I don't know. Maybe the aberrant then kill the other god, or absorb the other god, kill the other god. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know. We don't know, Alana.
We don't know. And we don't know what's happened at the end of this episode. It could be anything.
Yes.
It could.
Okay. All right. We can talk a little bit more about what exactly is happening here with Imogen. Obviously, because oh boy, her mom. Yeah. Because her mom was also linked to some of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But maybe as powerful, because we know her father was pretty, averse to Imogen's mother. So maybe there was. Oh.
We don't know, Nico.
We don't know.
We don't know. Full stop.
We don't know. But
oh god.
At least I think Otahan won't continue their killing spree because they got what they wanted.
We can hope so.
We can hope so.
It would be TPK. I don't think.
Yes.
I don't think Imogen by herself is gonna take her down. Well, we don't.
Well, maybe now, because Matt was saying that Otahan was looking a bit weary.
Rough-ish.
Yeah, rough-ish. We don't know exactly how rough that means. But if Imogen is as powerful as Otahan was making out to seem, maybe Imogen does just one-shot Otahan right then and there, and Otahan's like, yes, you've done it. You've proved yourself.
I hope that's not it, to be honest, because I kind of hate that trope of the bad guy being like, you've killed me, and so have completed your training that I set up for you. It's like, no, that's stupid.
No, you're just trying to save your ego. You got your ass beat.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, they got me. I better play this as this is what I've always wanted. No, I kind of hate that theme, so I hope that doesn't happen. But I do kind of get that sense of Otahan would be like, yes, power, you've done it. Which could again turn on them, because if they're like, what's that from? That's from a movie or something. They're like, yes, you've done it. You've taken your powers, and then they turn on them and they're like, what? Me? Like, no. They're super cliche, I'm sure, but there's definitely a movie that's from, and it's gonna kill me all day. But that could happen. That could be what we're looking at here.
It could. And then we could also have Laudna dying again in here if this storm starts doing damage.
That gets bad then. That gets real bad.
Wait, what are we? No, this is the first episode of the month. Okay, we're good.
Oh,
I was thinking that like next episode would then be like the cliffhanger before.
I think if we're talking about the potential actions and everything like that, I think Fern and FCG only have 1/3 level spell slot left each. So
they gotta hold on to that Revivify.
So that's 2 Revivifies that we can get off.
Yep.
That's it. So if a third goes down, we're fucked.
It's done.
Although, canonically speaking, if Laudna has the best chance, I think, of dying and not perma-dying, if that makes sense. There's too much going on with, like, her being a hollow one and Delilah being involved. There's more chance for something to continue with Laudna than there is for Orim and Fern. And they do have the diamonds, Glompus is asking. They've got 4 diamonds, I'm fairly certain. But then 3
I also don't know. I do agree that Laudna does have the best chance at coming back because of her connection to Delilah. But then I would also... narratively, it would make sense. But it would also feel... kind of like cheating, I guess.
If she's perma-dead and
like
Delilah's like,
it's more akin to plot armor, right?
Yes, 100%.
It's like, I guess we don't really have to worry about Laudna anymore.
Because that makes it feel like as though Delilah can't fail, or like, the warlock can't fail. But that's a part of being a warlock patron. You've got to accept the fact that your vessel can potentially fail and your plans don't work. But that would be... Oh gosh.
But again, it would still make narrative sense if Delilah is able to keep Laudna going.
It would, but it would make narrative sense. I'm not sure it would make mechanical sense.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I feel like they still respect the mechanics of the game. The other thing too would be I don't know how hollow bodies work with like Revivify, like hollow ones and that. I don't think there's any necessarily thing stopping them from being revived or resurrected. But it kind of feels like there's something in place. She's already died and been resurrected, technically, Lauda. So I wonder if that would increase her difficulties of coming back again.
Could be. But let's talk about our absolute worst case scenario.
Yes.
The worst case scenario, this storm does do some damage while it's swirling everyone around. Laudna dies. Chetney goes back down.
Ashton would be close to going back down.
Ashton would be close, maybe even going down. And then FCG trying to revivify Fern so that then she can revivify Orim. But then FCG failing the revivify if Matt is having them roll for it. That is the worst case scenario that could happen.
Yes. Well, no, worst case scenario, full stop, is Otahan kills FCG.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So just FCG being unable to even do the first revivify would be bad.
But that's why I'm thinking that Otahan isn't going to continue her rampage because Imogen finally
that's true.
Unleashed.
And I think and that's the thing too. I think because if you think about it in terms of if you play this as regular combat, if this had continued as regular combat, there would have been the chance for FCG to do the Revivify, for Fern to do the Revivify. I don't think Matt's going to come in and be like, no, there's no chance for this.
Right, yeah.
But that being said, I don't think it's going to be necessarily as easy as episode starts and they get their Revivifies off. I think it's going to... They're going to have to either work for it or it's going to be cutting it close, exactly. And again, I'm not holding out hope that they all get back up, like, because I feel like there could potentially be a permanent death.
I think we are going to see at least one of them be permanently dead. But I don't know.
I don't know who.
I don't know who. I mean, I guess
it would have to be You think if
I think it's gonna be
anyone comes
Aurum.
back up, I think it might be Aurum
I think
because
it's gonna
I
be
feel like
Aurum that
FCG. There's no way FCG doesn't at least try to get Fern first, because
well, that's their best bet. It has to be Fern because Fern is the only
and
other one that has Revivify, and FCG only has 1/3 level spot left.
we can assume FCG knows that Fern has that ability. We can assume that, right? We don't. You know, Sam going to pull a. Well, I don't know. Like, I don't know that Fern can bring them back. Like, I don't think that's. I think FCG will know that Fern has that ability. So, mechanically in game speaking, FCG's best bet of saving everyone is to bring Fern back. That would be what they want to know. We don't know what's going on with FCG. FCG might waver in their response
because they've been taking points, and I imagine a Revivify might send them over the edge again for some reason, because apparently they're being harmed by supporting their friends now. I think it could be Aurum too. I think Aurum might die, but again, I don't want to do it because I love Aurum a lot. I know, but is that? Because someone was saying that Matthew Topping in chat said Aurum has kind of served his purpose. I mean, kind of.
He's gotten to the point where his purpose is being revealed. I wouldn't say he served it. I think when you're dying with failure on your mind, it's not complete. They were there to like find answers. We haven't got the answers yet of why the Ashari were attacked. We got the potential for closure of if they take care of Otahan for Aurum's point, but it still doesn't answer their question, and it still doesn't resolve any of the Ruidus issues.
But that is a good point that Adam brings up. If Aurum is picked, like if FCG revivifies Aurum, Fern is done.
Yeah,
like
100%.
There's actually no shot, no chance of bringing her back.
But here's the thing: we're just talking about Laudna having that potential kind of meta chance to come back with Delilah. You know, whether or not they go that path, I don't know. But it could narratively make sense, mechanically not so much. That exists for Fern as well because she has her hag mother.
That's true.
There is these. And Aurum has Keyleth. Like, I think Keyleth has.
That's also true.
Reincarnation.
That's also true.
That kind of is that trick you fall into when you're playing low-level characters with high-level powerful entities. I mean, it's the trick with D&D in general. Like, if any cleric can revivify or reincarnate, like, why doesn't it happen all the time? It's because it's meant to. And the balance is meant to be maintained. That's
what I was just thinking, because yes, like let's say they revivify Fern, and they couldn't revivify Aurum. Imogen has messaged Keyleth before.
Yeah.
Like, or she just sends it again, like, hey, come save, resurrect Aurum and stuff. But then, like, if Keyleth then did that, then it's like, well, then why didn't you resurrect Will or Derrig when they were attacked?
Exactly. It's the question no one really wants to ask in D&D of like, oh no, like these people have died. If only someone could bring them back, like nudging Keyleth. Like, it's that weird kind of. It's very meta because I think it's respecting the laws of life and death in the world, whilst also allowing a game to be played with resurrection magic. So
it's tough. It's a tough thing to balance. But it is interesting because then it throws a lot of let's say an important political figure gets killed or something, assassinated, but they were like super integral to the stability of a governing force. It's like, oh, just resurrect them. Let's get a high level cleric in here and let's just get him back. So
no, it's tricky. It's a tricky thing to deal with.
We don't think about that. That's the great plot hole of Dungeons and Dragons. So we just don't think about it.
A little bit.
It is what it is. But we also have to consider that realistically, there probably aren't that many clerics or spellcasters that are at that level that can do that. Because like when you think of like high level characters like level 16 plus, those are like legendary or like reaching legendary status in terms of
like
skill.
anything really above level 10, you're starting to get like kind of like legendary. Like you're all so well known. I mean, Otahan is a renowned warrior, and she's above level 11. So you're getting to the point where it's like, oh yeah, no, the power differential between them and a commoner is insane. It is off the chain. Yeah, it's
so it is extremely possible that there really aren't realistically that many casters that are capable of resurrecting to that degree. You got to think maybe the average cleric maybe is only like level 3 or like 4.
Yeah, Raise the Dead's a 5th level spell or something, isn't it? And that's what, level 8, level 9. That's quite high.
That is also very high.
That's why you only really see these adventuring parties, these bands of weirdos that go out and get that high, because they're just doing random shit all the time. Raise the Dead is level 9. Oh, Raise the Dead's level 9? What am I thinking of then? What's the 5th level one? That's like...
No, I think they get Raise Dead at level 9.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
I was like, what? Thank you. Yeah, no, so it's a tricky kind of thing. I think if the Revivifiers don't work, it's gonna be it. Yeah.
And I
which sad.
Yes.
But new characters are always really fun as well.
Yes. Yes, so we can talk about that as well. So how does the campaign then look with 2 characters dying?
Yeah.
We've lost all of the EXU folks. Because Dorian's back off in wherever they left off at, and we just lost Fern and Orem, so that's all of our EXU people out of the picture. And it's
true because like how then do you integrate 2 new characters? Like we had, I want to change what I said earlier when I said only one major character has really perma-died. Bertrand also died.
Yes.
We have a slight habit of forgetting about Bertrand.
That's also Bertrand died asterisk because
narratively.
We kind of figured he was going to die.
But whenever a character has died or a character has left, campaign 1 spoilers, when Scanlan leaves and a new character came in, so pretty much whenever a new PC comes in, it's one, and there's a slow integration, or not so slow, I guess, for Tarion. That was quick. That was a quick integration. But there is this integration. There is time spent introducing the character. Normally they have their own wants and desires. Like maybe they send them on a quest themselves. It's... Or like even like, you know, Liam's new characters for all the Vox Machina one-shots they've done. They've all been like, I'm here to help. I am just, you know, I am a support in the sense of joining this party. So it's going to be really interesting if there are 2 new characters that need to be introduced over the course of the next couple of weeks. How they do that. What does that look like for the Bells Hells for them to be like, we've just lost our 2 close friends. Are we going to suddenly, we have to mechanically, for the sake of the game, be okay with these 2 new people joining us? We've just been hurt by you. How are we going to trust these people? Like, it'd be a nightmare, which is why I think Matt's not going to aim for killing 2 people, but I don't think he's going to necessarily make it so easy that they both survive.
Exactly. I think I'm going to expect at least one of them to be permadead.
Yeah.
I think
and
that is. I think going
nice
into the next episode.
Yeah.
I think one of them, and again, I say like one of them, but I think we're all thinking Orem. Unfortunately, very unfortunately.
Ooh.
So it's very possible I have to say goodbye to Orem next episode. But in the case that they both did die, I could see then like the new characters coming in that Ashley and Liam come up with are probably connected in some way. Just so it's easier to introduce 2 characters and not have them like disjointed. At least this episode didn't happen at the end of the month, and we had to wait like 2 weeks.
Could you imagine? I mean, we can because it's happened so many times before, where they just take a break after something major. But this is exciting. We get it in less than 7 days.
Yeah, like we do not actually have to wait long at all.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to see where we end up going with it. Is there anything else we wish to talk about or bring up?
One little thing, and it's like it's connected, but it's not as devastating, I guess, as what happened at the end of the episode. But something else to be very concerned about. Otahan now knows that Estros is involved.
I just saw that in my notes. Yep.
Oh.
Yep. Uh-huh.
I'm going to have to pay him a visit. This guy steps too far above his station. Oh, no.
I totally forgot about that until I opened up my notebook. Yes, Estros is now in big danger. But are they even going to remember? Because they already have so much to do with it right now. Is Imogen even going to remember to, like, send a message to Estros to be like, yo, you gotta run. Like, Otahan's coming for you.
Are they even going to remember to get Treshy
out of the hole? Treshy's, they're gonna leave Treshy in there.
This whole saga is gonna, like, wrap up, and they're gonna have a moment's respite, and they're gonna go on the next adventure like, oh, I need to get something out of the hole. This is gonna be a skeleton.
Treshy's, oh no. But fully preserved, right? Because there's no, like...
Yeah, there's nothing in there.
Oh god.
Oh lord. No passage of time, realistically.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. So yeah, Estros in danger. I don't think there's anything else that I really had that I wrote down. I guess one other small thing during, like, the assault on the fortress, I loved all of Matt's sound effects of, like, people falling from, like, heights. Just like he did that a lot this episode.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was really funny every time. Yeah.
Sounds.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, also, now that you bring it up, there was that one section in the prison cells when they were getting Treshy, and that guard got shot by Otahan Vo.
Yeah.
That was, like, maybe one of the most visceral deaths you described.
That was pretty brutal.
It was kind of like, oh yeah, you know, NPCs die all the time and we're okay with it, but this one felt really
Well, I don't know. Do you remember the one where Caleb crunched the guy in his armor?
And I remember the guard that Bo poured acid into the mouth.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know why this guy just getting shot and trying to. I think it was because he was trying to grasp at it and not die. Made it kind of horrific in this moment.
Yeah.
It hasn't been as violent, I guess, this campaign. It's been spooky and creepy and gross, but this is like, oh god, this guy just died really badly.
I love, amongst all of this that we're talking about, Alex Sawyer drops, I wonder if that granny crossing the road lived.
Oh my word.
Oh no.
But I'm excited if we have a chance for the characters to talk after this. Like, if this resolves somehow, say everyone's alive, it resolves, they've still got a plan, they've still got something they need to do, but they're able to recoup and talk, I'm excited for what's going to come of this. We've got maybe, like, feelings of... I can imagine maybe feelings of anger from, like, say, Ashton and things like that. They stuck to the plan. Ashton stuck to the plan that they all agreed on, and then it went bad. Ashton is a character that has trust issues to begin with, and, like, you know, kind of these self-worth, guilt kind of issues of being left behind. I would like to see that play into it again. I'd like to see some development on that respect. We've got, you know, whatever's going on with FCG, we don't know if this could trigger them again. We've got Chetney going down. Like, this guy's a loose cannon, but at the same time, they're going down. These things are going to have to weigh on them. I mean, we can talk about Imogen forever.
Oh, I know. Like, this is
how
going to impact Imogen the most.
Yeah.
This is
but, like, I want to see... I want this, like, we can talk about how much permadeath would be interesting equally, but I kind of want to see these conversations. I want to see literally the fallout of whatever happens.
And, like, because something this traumatic with this much death and stuff is enough to just end a party.
Yeah, you would think so, right? You would be like, well, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm going. And again, we know meta reasons why that might not happen, but if you...
But all bets are off. All bets are off this campaign.
100%. It could just be like, I mean, that's what happened with Scanlan. He was just like, this is terrible. I feel terrible. You guys suck. I'm going. Like, it's happened before. The precedence is there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. It's going to be good.
But then would we sooner see Ashton leave or Imogen leave for the party safety?
I don't think Ashton would leave. I think they would have a case for being very upset.
Yeah, oh yes.
But I think we could see maybe Imogen wanting to leave, and them not letting her because, you know, they're invested and they're ready to do it. But I don't know. Man. I'm not sure. I think any kind of fallout from this could be good. I was going to say something and now I can't remember what it was.
That is A-okay. There's a lot to think about right now. There's a lot going through our minds. I got it.
I got it. I kind of hope, my big hope is that we don't start the next episode and we maintain the threat, I guess. Like, all the combat and the threat is still there, and it's another slog to kind of, you know, deal with it, and roles and all this sort of stuff. I kind of hope the start is narrative, is mainly narrative, or like role play, just to deal with what's happened. Because, I mean, if you think about, like, the finale of Campaign 2, which is excellent, we were expecting it then, but it was a slog. It was in the city, doing stuff, getting attacked, fighting, which you expect from a finale. That's what you want from a finale. I kind of hope it doesn't happen here, where it's like, you know, we've had this fight, like, characters are dead. I don't want it to start with, you know, more fighting. Wherever or whenever or however they be, I want it to go to roleplay.
Or maybe we'll have another 1 second of combat, you know, lasts an hour of you know, game time.
Wild.
Maybe we'll get another one of those.
Wild.
But we will just have to wait and see. And the wait is not going to be long because everyone, we get to see it in less than a week. Less than a week. So, I suppose if there is nothing left to discuss, I mean, there's always stuff we can continue to talk about.
So much stuff to discuss.
But we gotta call it at some point.
100%.
But I feel like we're ready. We are ready and waiting anxiously for what's going to happen next episode. So, with all that being said, everyone, thank you all so very much. This was a beautiful turnout. Thank you to everyone who joined in, the audience, chit-chatted with us. I know emotions are high, tensions are high. We're here with you, hand in hand. We're going to get through it. Very, very tense situations, but hey, this is why we watch the show. This is exactly why we watch it. So thank you all so much for showing your support and hanging out, chatting with us live. Thank you to everyone who's going to be watching this on the podcast upload on YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, or wherever else this may find itself. If you are looking to support us further, be sure to follow us on Twitter. That is going to be at WhatTheSheepPod on Twitter, where we post updates on when we go live and when we might have to miss a week. So if you just want to stay up to date on all that stuff, be sure to give us a follow. But also, check out our website, whatthesheeppod.com, which has all of our podcast information, our socials. You can leave reviews, whole lot of stuff. So if you want to support us, check out those two avenues. It really means a lot. Even if you're just clicking on it, all of it matters. All of it helps.
Yeah.
But we also just appreciate you being here. So thank you for that. As always, don't forget to love each other. Spread the love to everyone you meet, everyone you see. The world needs more love in it, so make sure you're spreading it around. But most importantly, everyone, don't forget to love yourself. That is the most important thing you can do, so make sure you are taking care of yourself. Eat some food, drink some water, get plenty of rest. Proud of you, and thank you for being here. And so, with all of that being said, I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful rest of your morning, day, evening, wherever you may be on this glorious earth. And we'll see you all next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.